Okay, you guys, I have some stuff to say this morning because honestly, it's getting kind of warm in here. Maybe that's because I am frustrated. Who knows? But seriously, all the people who are posting these horrific comments about Anna Duggar and talking about how she is insane to stay with Josh Duggar and how she should know better than to be endangering these children, and how on earth can she possibly keep having babies, because she just announced that at the tender age of 32 she's pregnant with baby number 7, that she just announced that she is pregnant, and now he's arrested in Arkansas by the Department of Homeland Security again. And somehow, as far as the internet trolls are concerned, this is all Anna's fault because she's still with the man. I need to break this down for you just a little bit, okay? And if you want to pass this on, it's a great time to hit share, because I'll be honest, this is going to be fire. I even took notes. I'm not riffing off the top of my head. I wrote crap down. Yes, I said it. I am so over people who do not understand trauma, abuse, psychological manipulation, and really being a prisoner in your own home based on your theological beliefs and the way that you are treated in your home. I am so over people blaming the victims for being entrapped in the situations that they're entrapped in. So here's just a few facts, just in case you haven't got the memo. This went live. I started getting messages about it last night. Josh Duggar, I think he's the oldest, from the 19 and Counting reality TV show. Yeah, he's 33, and he just got arrested on a federal warrant through a raid from Department of Homeland Security. And based on People.com and Fort Smith News, there was also a prior raid on his back in 2019 on his car dealership. It was a Homeland Security raid. No one ever revealed, that I can find, whether or not he was the sole focus of that raid, but sources say it had to do with child porn. Now, what else do we know about Josh Duggar besides the fact that he was the, I think, oldest of 19 children and a reality TV show star, and comes from a very, very heavy fundamentalist, patriarchal, supposedly Christian, conservative, big family, quiverful kind of mentality and background. Okay, here's what we know. In 2015, he issued a public apology after a police report from 2006 was somehow surfaced, and he admitted, quote, wrongdoing. The wrongdoing was that he had been molesting 5 minor girls, 2 of whom were his sisters. And that police report appears to have been kind of buried back in 2006. He also admitted wrongdoing that included having Ashley Madison accounts for cheating on Anna, his wife. He admitted that he had lived a double life, that he had been a hypocrite, and that he had had a significant porn addiction, had been cheating on his wife, and had been living a double life. I think I already said that. That was 2015. 2015 was a big year for a lot of people. I've heard of a lot of situations like this that went down in 2015. I don't know why. And so, but he framed it not as massive felony criminal action, having molested 5, sexually touching 5 minor girls, but he framed it as being an apology for hypocrisy and wrongdoing. And at that time, his wife, Anna, stayed with him. Now, this is 6 years ago now, right? Going on 6 years ago, 2015 to 2021. In 2019, he was the central person in a real estate lawsuit. So apparently he hasn't stopped with the deception, the compartmentalization, and the double life, and decided that his hypocrisy needs to quit 4 years after his 2015 apology. Then there was the Homeland Security raid, somehow related to child porn, on his car dealership in 2019. Yesterday, he was arrested on a federal warrant by the Department of Homeland Security. One source, according to Fort Smith News, says that it has to do with child porn. That's unconfirmed. I'm not going to say it does or it doesn't. I don't know. I don't have those documents. I'm looking at this from a perspective of the patterns of systemic abusive behavior. Someone asks me, oh, I know who this is. Can't they both be at fault? Let me explain that. That is exactly why I'm doing this video. Because, guess what? I posted yesterday, last night, that it was very sad, but not at all surprising, that he's been arrested again, and that my heart goes out to Anna Duggar. Well, here's the thing. Anna Duggar is completely toast, no matter what she does. And honestly, I've tagged their page. Anna, if you are ever in a position to watch this, or if someone who knows Anna watches this, I want you to know that you are not alone. There are other women in the world who have been in similar backgrounds as you, who have been through this same kind of experience, and who have wrestled through the same questions, worries, fears, and trauma that you are going through right now. If you ever want help, then you or someone who knows you on your behalf is welcome to reach out to me, and I will do everything I possibly can to hook you up with the right resources to help you and your children be safe. Just throwing that out there, because somebody who watches this is guaranteed to know Anna personally, just because I know my audience. Now, that being said, I'm going to keep speaking not to Anna, but to all of you who are listening and watching, and especially to all the small-minded trolls. I'm just not in a mood to play around today. To all the small-minded trolls who have been leaving comments under my other post with his arrest picture, who are saying, well, she should never have stayed with him. It's her fault. Why do women do this? Let me break it down. This is why women do this. Okay. So, first of all, if she leaves, do you know what people say and what they tell her? You gave up on your marriage. You are the one who walked out on your marriage. You broke your vows by leaving. How dare you not take your vows seriously? I don't care what your husband has done. If you are a godly wife, you would stay with your husband regardless of what he does. Because books like Love and Respect, Every Man's Battle by Emerson Eggerichs and Stephen Arterburn and Fred Stoker, the popular books about this, you know what they tell women? They tell women you have to give unconditional respect no matter what he does. Even with despicable behavior, you have to give him unconditional respect. Otherwise, anything he does effectively is your fault, woman. And you are letting him and God down if you don't give him unconditional respect. Second, those kinds of books, the kinds of books that are popular in this type of circle, been there. These kinds of books are also teaching that every single man has a battle with out of control, raging sexual need. And if you as a wife are not there for it enthusiastically, then you are responsible. If he cheats, has an affair, watches porn, masturbates, whatever it is, it's your fault because you were not there for his insatiable sex addiction. Instead of telling men, hey, you need a licensed therapist for your sex addiction, they say, this is God. This is how God made you. God made you male. Being male means raging sexaholic. And your wife's job is to give you release. Doesn't matter how she feels. Doesn't matter what's going on for her. She just needs to be there for it. So that, I would 99% guarantee, is the stuff that Anna has been told probably all her life. And Josh too, which means he's going to be reinforcing that from home, as well as anyone in her life who is giving her advice. She needs to stand by her man. She needs to be faithful. And instead of saying, hey, loving him well means letting him have the consequences of his actions, loving him well means getting safe and getting your kids safe, she will be being told that if you leave, you gave up, and that's on you and your conscience. You have let God down. If she stays, the rest of the world is like, oh my goodness, that's horrible. She should have known better. Why didn't she leave last time? I'll tell you why. Fear. She's screwed if she stays, she's screwed if she leaves. But also, before I get down to the theology and the beliefs, actually, you know what? I'm going to deal with theology and the beliefs first. Here's what she's likely been told. Besides all the stuff I just said. If she leaves, she's the one breaking the vows. The word covenant will get used to terrify her. Absolutely. She made a lifetime covenant. She chose this man, and it is her fault if she hasn't satisfied him. And if he does something like this, it is her obligation to stand by him, prop him up, support his ego, tell him he's going to be okay, and never, ever leave. And if she does leave, it can just be for maybe a little bit until he says sorry. And then she needs to go back, because that's what a good, dutiful wife does. Her theology and beliefs about marriage, about the covenant of marriage, about the permanence of marriage, trump abuse, trump his criminal behavior, trump the fact that he's already broken the vows, trump everything else. Because underlying that, she is his property, his baby bearer, his sex doll. And anything he does can be twisted by the people around her, by him, and by everyone in her world to be her fault. The only way she is being told, most likely, that she can make it better is to stick around. It doesn't matter that he's already broken the covenant, that he's betrayed every vow, and that he's continued to do so in a systemic pattern of provable behavior that we can see just from police reports. He is not living the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control. He's not living according to honesty, truthfulness, living in the light. That means he's an unbeliever, and she's free to go. He's a criminal, felonious unbeliever who has dragged her and their children through captivity, whether she realizes it or not. But she has very likely been taught that the only option for her is to stay, unless she wants to betray God. God himself. Let down God himself. That's an unthinkable option for someone who has been raised in fear like this. Also, let's just talk about the practical side of things. She married a reality TV star. Let's say she leaves. Where's she going to get privacy? They have money. So where's she going to get support, even if she has access to none of the money? Think about it as a woman who is pregnant with baby number 7. In the back of your mind, even if she's thought about leaving, even if she's thought about trying to find safety, there's going to be thoughts for her like, how am I going to provide for 7 kids? How am I going to birth a baby alone? How am I going to manage when I know that my family, my circumstances, my surroundings, my church family are going to turn against me and crucify me? How will I house 7 children? How will I parent and provide alone for 7 children? Who would ever want me now that I am the betrayed, cast aside, broken down wife, ex-wife, should she leave, of a highly public family in a highly public figure from a highly public family where everyone will know my face. How would I ever heal if I left? How would people leave me alone long enough to just get my feet under me? There is shame, there is fear, there is absolute sense of being frozen, because how would you get a house? How would you get a job in order to be able to afford a house? How can you get someone to take care safely of your 7 children or 6 while you're pregnant and heavily pregnant, to be able to get a job, to go work in order to be able to afford a house, in order to be able to pay for the people, to provide for your children, to have childcare and buy groceries, but you can't leave your children because you don't have childcare yet, in order to go get a job, in order to pay the bills, in order to get a house. You can't get a house without showing pay stubs. You can't get a job without having childcare. You can't house your children without having a job and childcare and all of the help. It's this like snake eating its tail until you're a pretzel and you're just tied up in knots. And the sense of overwhelm that comes with that. What if I can't find a job? What if I can't find a house? What if I'm completely alone? What if everybody in the world knows my face and my name and they come after me? What if he's stalking me? What if his family is helping him stalk me? What if they're monitoring my messages, my emails, my Facebook? How do I start over alone? How do I handle it if I'm homeless? Is my car big enough for me and 6 children and a newborn baby to live in long enough to be able to get on my feet? Do I have cash? Probably not. Do I have access to assets? Probably not. It feels impossible for the average woman. And then you add reality TV show star, high-profile arrest warrant, extremely well-known family who will turn against you and crucify you for betraying their theological beliefs, and I have 0 questions why Anna Duggar or anyone else hasn't broken out of their situation yet, because, well, women just don't leave. I just don't understand. Yes, I have an attitude this morning. You know what? Deal with it. I am so tired of people making inane, asinine comments when women may be actually just trying to stay alive, because they know what the men and even sometimes the other women in their lives are capable of if they break the status quo. Here's some interesting facts for you. Let's break it down from a psychological point of view. No, I don't care that this video has gone on a long time. 134 people watching right now. Every one of you, hit share. Pass this on, because I want to stop the mindset that women should just leave. We just don't understand why they leave. If she hadn't left already, then she doesn't need help now. If she stayed last time, she doesn't need help this time. If she's still there, then she deserves it. Stop with that nonsense. And share this video so other people can know to also stop with that nonsense. And somebody, I'm going to say it again in case you just joined, somebody who knows Anna. I'm ranting at the world right now, yes. But you know what? In a coaching session, I'm not quite the same hard line right now as I am right now. And what I would like most is for Anna, her precious children, and other women like her to get help and to be safe. So if you know her, pass this on to her. I will help her. I will hook her up with a wild tribe of warriors like she has never met before, who will have her back. Now, let's break this down from a psychological point of view. A couple years ago, I interviewed Brian Bennett, who is a police officer, a domestic violence specialist, and an instructor at the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy. His specific focus is domestic violence and non-fatal strangulation. Did you know? This is what I learned from Brian Bennett, Officer Bennett. And I'll post a link in the bottom because I have an article about this. I actually just posted on my page. If you scroll down on my page, it's probably just a couple of posts down. It's called Why Doesn't She Leave? So Officer Brian Bennett told me about a documentary that was done a number of years ago on prisoners of war. And the specific question that they asked about prisoners of war was, why didn't you escape? Now, let me tell you a little bit something about Marines, Navy SEALs, frontline soldiers. Soldiers who have been taken through literally millions of dollars of training in the United States military forces and taught the best techniques for survival. You see, these frontline soldiers, our warriors in the United States of America, our enlisted forces, they go through things like what is called SERE training. SERE is S-E-R-E, and it stands for Survive, Evade, Resist, Escape. SERE. Survive, Evade, Resist, Escape. It's where the military teaches soldiers, warriors, techniques on how to escape and survive if they are taken prisoner of war. Here's the thing. What they noticed in this study and this documentary is that the majority of American armed forces taken prisoner of war throughout the decades never escaped on their own. And they asked why. Why would these elite warriors with millions of dollars of training under their belt from one of the most powerful military forces in the world, the best training possible, who've all been trained in how to survive and evade and resist and escape, why would they not escape? Why would they stay as prisoners of war when they have every tool possible to get away? And it came down to two reasons. Number one was I saw opportunities to escape, but I was afraid that I wouldn't make it all the way out and I would get caught. And so I stayed. I chose to stay alive. Number two was I had chances to escape, but I was worried for my buddies because I knew other prisoners would pay in blood for me escaping, and I didn't want them to be tortured, so I stayed. Both of those reasons are fear-based. So here's my question. If the elite warriors and some of the strongest military in the entire world who have had SERE training, if they chose to stay as prisoners of war, to endure torture in order to avoid risking more torture or death for those they would leave behind, in order to protect the people they cared about, or because they were afraid they couldn't get all the way out, why, in God's name, do we ask domestic violence victims, well, why did you stay? Well, why haven't you just taken your kids and left? Well, why did you go back? Really? Really? Because fear is crippling. Because theological beliefs hamstring your courage at times. Because when you believe you would be entirely alone, you wonder if you could actually make it on your own. Because you believe nobody will believe you, and because you believe nobody will help you, and because you believe that if you leave, you will have betrayed your God and your entire system of functioning. Because you believe that if you do get out, they're going to send your kids back in, and you won't be there as a buffer to protect them. Because you don't know how you would do it alone. If those who have had SERE training stay prisoners of war out of a choice to do what they believe would keep them alive to fight another day, why the hell can't we understand that domestic violence victims might very well do the same? And why can't we just support those who deeply need help. Without all of the rhetoric, without all of the blaming, without all of the excuses, without all of the small-minded trolling. So, tell you what, I'm going to just say it now. Anybody who makes more of those kind of comments underneath this or my other post, you're getting deleted and blocked. Done. If you guys see them making comments and posts like that, victim blaming and shaming comments, you have my permission to re-educate and recalibrate their perspective if you see it before I do. I might even leave a few of them up just for the educational purpose. Play nice, be classy, don't be a troll yourself, but we have got to end this mindset. It is time for it to be done. And when we see a woman and her children who need help and support, it is time for those of us who understand what that feels like and those of us who have the resources to give support to stand up and say, I'm here. I will stand with you in the trenches. I will help you make it out through the jungle. I will do a fly-in and extraction. I will call the next people. I will help you get hooked up with the resources you need because I've been there. I know what it feels like, and I will not stand by and let you live further on in fear. All right, I should probably stop now. I think I've said what there needs to be said. If you agree, please share this, make it go viral, put it everywhere. And again, if anybody knows Anna, message me. We'll get her hooked up. Have a wonderful weekend, y'all. Keep telling the truth, educating and recalibrating the trolls. Go forth and conquer.